I think we got a lot of good stuff. Sports news from Sam. We're going to start out with Sam is done with sports and is taking up birds, which you should check out. Cornell has two bird apps. One is for identification and one is for tracking birds. So I think if you've gotten into birds or you think you might want to get into birds, they're pretty fun. They're pretty cool. And today we're adding a little bit of a segment, an important woman on May 27th, 1907, one of the most influential figures of the 20th century, was born marine biologist and conservatist Rachel Carson. She was a marine biologist and she was a self-admitted, or would say she was not a good swimmer. She changed how the world understood the relationship between humans and the natural world, methodologically exposed the devastating effects of synthetic pesticides, specifically DDT. The chemical industry aggressively attacked her work, attempting to discredit her as an unscientific, hysterical woman. Despite these attacks, and while secretly battling terminal breast cancer, Carson meticulously defended her research before Congress. Her work directly resulted in a national ban on the pesticide DDT, a shift in public consciousness that jump-started the modern environmental movement, and the eventual creation of the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, EPA. Our deeper topic today is a Too Long Didn't Watch: Why Tech Companies Are Quietly Canceling AI Data Centers is the video. So more than half of AI data center construction projects are currently being canceled or delayed. Half of the U.S. data centers planned for this year are expected to face delays or cancellations. So when you add those up, you're looking at 20 to 30% of U.S. data centers being delayed or canceled. And these are the things where people are like, oh, look, AI is moving ahead. Oracle and OpenAI are reportedly ending plans to expand a flagship data center in Texas. And let's see, 25 contracts were canceled in the last quarter of 2025. And 99 of the 770 planned data centers tracked for that year are being contested, whether it might be political, legislative, like please don't move in here kind of contestations, or related to like a financial contract and not having enough money for it. Let's see, in 2025, more money, I found this crazy, was spent building data centers than on single family homes in the US, which we'll probably do a topic for single family homes sometimes, and how they are built like garbage now. Global spending on AI infrastructure surpassed 200 billion and roughly in 2023, and roughly doubled in 2024, so nearly 400 billion. Let's see, some tech companies have allocated 400 billion in capital expenditures. I know we're getting in a lot of numbers here, but it's, I think, just again one of those things where we're talking about, man, these are some crazy amounts of usage and a crazy amount of cancellations. So this one's crazy. For energy, data centers consume close to 2% of global electricity right now. And 60% of the electricity still comes from fossil fuels. A lot of electrical components are having trouble getting sourced because of sanctions, really tariffs. A lot of things like connection cables, power supply stuff, a lot of that stuff comes from China. So just the price of electrical transformers has doubled in the last 4 years. And Nvidia stuff. Okay, so this is interesting in terms of Nvidia hearing like, hey, they're going to sell all this stuff. Are they actually selling all this stuff? And Nvidia reached a $5 trillion market value. And the company generated a record revenue of roughly 44 billion in the first quarter ending in this April. Let's see. The CEO of Nvidia, Jensen, has said that they're distributing about 10 gigawatts worth of GPUs, which I think it's a weird way to use power as the unit of measurement for these GPUs in data centers, but it's fine. Goldman Sachs estimates that they're using about 30% less than that in actually operation. Now, here's the interesting thing. So Nvidia, let's say you have inventory, right? If you're doing a good job selling stuff, you're going to have less inventory. You're going to be getting stuff out the door. So they had roughly 5 million units of inventory in 2024. And in 2025, it was reported 21 million. So 4 times more. And again, if you're really doing well, you're not holding on to a lot of your inventory, you're selling it. So they're reducing their GPU production, which is kind of well known. The PC general computing, like what someone would use for creating, for building PCs or using for their gaming PCs. They're reducing that production by about 40% due to RAM shortage, which the AI bubble has been driving RAM prices through the roof, even increasing the costs of like video game consoles. Gardner, which we'll get to in a second, which I feel a lot less trusting of their expectations after hearing a little stat that I'll mention here, but they're expecting PC prices will rise by 15 to 20% this year. So let's go to a Gardner report. AI models are heavily subsidized. And Gardner is saying that in 2030, these large language models will cost 90% less. And this is bad research, and someone should call them out on it, someone with, more say than I should. So right now, AI usage is subsidized. So usually what people estimate is you're paying 20% of the actual cost of what it's used for. So let's say McDonald's, it takes them $1 to make a Big Mac. All the shipping, the employee costs, the ingredients, whatever. And then, so they've got the cost of $1, they sell it for $5. So they're making 5 times a return on that. Now, imagine they were selling it for 20 cents. Every time they sell a hamburger, they're losing 80 cents. And that's really what we're looking at right now with AI, is the subsidized cost is making it so not only are they not making money on it, they're losing a lot of money on it. So let's call it there. And again, the video referenced here is why tech companies are quietly canceling AI data centers. Our sponsor today is Allegra, which is not a drug. It's what we call our Alexa device, because sometimes she's listening in. And our merchandise is coming from Logitech. You can buy mice there, and sometimes their little spinning wheels has an infinite spin, and that's kind of fun.